Okay, this first part of grammar, unit number 7, is devoted to the past perfect simple. That is to say, cuando yo llegué, tú te habías ido o tú ya te habías ido. So in English, this would be, when I arrived, you had gone. You had already gone, if you want to say already. So this is the right structure to follow. You got a subject, then you have to say had all the time, then you have to say the verb, but the past participle part of it, okay? So remember, every single verb has got 3 different forms. This is the infinitive, go, for example. This is the past simple, which is went in this case, and this is the past participle, which is gone. So in this case, we're going to use all the time the past participle here in this part of the structure. Okay, good. So if I want to say no, easy. Just go for this, had not or hadn't, okay? He hadn't gone. Él no se había ido. And if you want to make a question, so, had you gone? Te has ido. Te habías ido, perdón. Okay. So, when am I going to use it? Because I think this is the most difficult part of it, okay? To know when to use the tenses. Right. So, imagine that I'm looking for a watch, okay? And after a long time looking and visiting some shops, I finally found a watch that I liked. Okay, so I found this shop, and inside the shop I saw this beautiful watch, and I liked it. So before that, before I found it, I had visited one shop, didn't find anything. I went to another shop. I had visited another shop, didn't find anything, and I went to another one. So I spent a lot of time visiting shops, and finally I found a watch that I liked. So if I want to tell my story to someone, I would say, I had visited lots of shops before I found a watch I liked. Joder, tío. Yo no sé cuántas tiendas visité. Antes de encontrar el reloj, había visitado mogollón. 1, 2, 3, okay? So this is the way to say this situation in English. I had visited many shops before I found a watch I liked. Okay? So we're going to use the past perfect simple for actions and situations that started or happened before another moment in the past. I had visited 3 shops before I found a watch I liked. Is it okay? Good. Now let's take a look at past perfect continuous. That is to say in Spanish, yo te había estado esperando durante 2 horas cuando me marché. I had been waiting for you for 2 hours when I left. It always happens the same. I wait and I wait and you never come in time, okay? So I'm tired of it. Enough is enough, okay? Basta ya, hombre. So this is the structure. You get a subject. After that you have to write had, then been all the time, had been, and then the verb. You have to write it down and then in ing, okay? I had been waiting for you. Yo te había estado esperando. If I want to say no, easy. Instead of had, you have to say had not or hadn't been, and the verb and in ing. And for questions, had you been waiting for me for a long time? Okay, before I came? That's right. So, when am I going to use the past perfect continuous? Let's take a look. Now, this is a timeline, okay? I found a present for my mother. Finally, I made it. Yeah, this beautiful watch is for my mother. So I love her, and I love the watch too. But before that, I had been looking for hours. Yeah, I was so exhausted and tired, you know, from one shop to another, you know, for a long time without stopping, without resting, without sitting anywhere. So, yes, this is the situation. If I want to say this story, I would say it in English. I had been looking for hours before I found a present for my mother. Okay, so when am I going to use the past perfect continuous? So we use the past perfect continuous to emphasize the continuing progress of actions and situations that happened before another moment in the past. So as you can see, it is quite similar to the past perfect simple, but in this case, what I'm telling you, I'm emphasizing that I had been for a long time walking and looking for my perfect watch. Okay, so I had been looking for hours before I found a present for my mother. Yep. So let's take a look at some exercises from your student's book. Page 72, exercise number 1 or number 2, I don't know. Okay. Past perfect simple and continuous. So read these extracts from the article and then put the verbs into the correct tense. Now, number 1, the teenage market was the idea of two teenage brothers, Joe and Tom Barrett. So you have to write here the past perfect simple or continuous. So what are you going to do? They had heard about a successful event called the Vintage Village. Antes de todo eso, ellos habían oído hablar de algo que había tenido mucho éxito que se llamaba the Vintage Village. Okay, number 2. Before, some town centers had been empty on Sundays. Okay, antes de todo esto, las tiendas pues habían estado vacías, los centros de las ciudades. Number 3, he had been selling his work for several years before he joined the teenage market. Okay, so if I say this, it is because for a long time in the past he was doing that. Okay, I'm emphasizing that. I'm telling you for a long time. Okay. Page 72, exercise number 1. Read the sentences and decide which action happened first. Choose the correct option. So, number 1, I had bought the shoes. Yo había comprado los zapatos before I went on holiday. So, which thing happened first? Did I buy the shoes first? Did I go on holidays? So, here we go. Yeah, I bought the shoes in first place. Number 2, when I went on holiday, I bought the shoes. So what happened first? Yeah, I went on holiday and then I bought the shoes there. Number 3, when I went to Tunisia, I had already bought a great t-shirt. So yeah, before I bought the t-shirt and then I went to Tunisia. Number 4, I bought a great t-shirt after I came back from Tunisia. So, yeah, I came back and then I bought it. Number 5, I broke my glasses just after I had cleaned them. So what happened first? Yeah, I cleaned them, okay, and then they got broken. Well, they got broken, I broke them, okay. And number 6, she had been thinking about buying a bike before she saw Jenny's. So yeah, she was thinking about buying a bike before she saw Jenny's bike. We are in page 72 in this exercise. What you have to do is all the verbs in brackets here, you have to choose the correct tense. So you got 3 options. You can write these verbs in the past simple form. For example, I went. You can write it down in the past perfect simple, I had gone, or in the past perfect continuous, I had been going. Okay, so it depends on the situation. In the context of the sentence, you will have to use this, or these other tense. You ready? So here we go. Last summer, my family and I went to Istanbul for a week. I had never visited Turkey before, so I was very excited. It was a fantastic trip. We stayed in a hotel in Sultanahmet. Suppose this is the way it is pronounced. The first evening we went to a restaurant nearby. The food was even more delicious than I had expected. The next morning we went to Topkapi Plus and the Blue Mosque. They were both amazing. We had been walking for several hours, but by the time we got to the Grand Bazaar, so we were a little tired, but it was definitely worth visiting. It's an incredible place with over 5,000 shops. My mum had been saying for months that she wanted to find some jewelry there. I had hoped to find a vintage watch. We had been looking around for about half an hour when we found a jewelry shop. My mum bought a lovely necklace and I got a watch that's more than 100 years old. Luckily, I had enough money because I had been saving up my pocket money for several months.